Hello, everyone. It's Yo Taylor back here at the Style Table on My Style Mondays, and today I am interviewing Fran Fomai. She's a CEO. She's an author. She is a speaker, public speaker, podcaster. She does everything. She's going to tell us about her book, and she's venturing on. She has a business that's involved in transportation. That's the CEO of the business she's in. But we're going to talk to her more about her personal journey and how she's written this book and her podcast and being a mom. And we're going to talk about her style and how all of that affects her daily life, because our style reflects what our daily life is. Our style also reflects our personal growth. As our style evolves and our life evolves, it's all reflected in our journey, our own personal journey. Fran, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Yo. I appreciate the invitation.
The first thing I want to talk to you, I want to ask you to tell us about your book and why you decided to write the book.
Sure. So my book is called Can You Hear Me? And I titled that on purpose because a lot of the times as parents, sometimes we do not have a listening ear. And we find ourselves in conversations where we're actually talking at the kids and not with them. So that's why I titled the book, Can You Hear Me? Because it was a struggle of communication between my kids and I. And I didn't realize that when I was trying to figure out the solution to our communication problem, I thought it was them. Then I find myself in therapy and find out that I'm actually the problem. So that's why I wrote the book, just talking about the different experiences that I had and what I had to go through in order to really find a mutual space of conversation for me and my kids. So that way I could be a safe space for them to actually come and talk, because I wasn't.
I can totally relate to that. I was a single mother raising a teenage son and raising a Black boy in this world, and it's a struggle. It was tough, but like you said, I was talking at him. You need to do this. Why aren't you doing this? And going through therapy, family therapy for us, opened my eyes and like, yeah, I was the problem. He didn't see me as a safe space to come to. And when you open your mind to see yourself and really take stock in, some of our communication problems and some of the problems he was having was actually a medical health issue. Like you said, when you listen, you find out that it's really something completely different than what you thought.
Totally. I posted something today on LinkedIn, because there was a saying that said, when you stop caring about other people and what they're saying about you, then you can start to live your own life. But also too, it's like, in that same respect, we don't really know that we have the lenses of other people on us through conditioning. So we just carry down these behaviors of social conditioning, cultural conditioning. And then here we are repeating the same pattern until, like you and I did, we had an aha moment, right? And now we can have better conversations, more authentic conversations with the ones that we really love.
Exactly. So your book is a very powerful book that so many women, so many people moms and dads can identify with, because whether you're a single parent or whether you are married, parenting is parenting to a certain degree, and you have to be able to get real with yourself. And that's what you're saying, take your I'm right kind of, thumb off the scale and sit back and look at everything equally and say, you know what, it's them, but it's also me.
Yeah. I mean, also too, taking into consideration, asking ourselves, maybe, are we being the versions of ourselves that we would have wanted for the younger version? Are we being the versions for our children that we would have wanted to be the versions of our younger selves?
Ooh, that right there. All of that. That's a great tip. That's a great way to sit back and assess yourself. That are you being, kind to them like you would have wanted, your parents to be kind to you. Yeah. Because we do. We start after a while, you start becoming your parents when you get older. You think you're this cool hip thing. You're really not. You start to morph into what you were raised with.
Yeah.
And your parents were only equipped to raise you with what they were raised with.
Yeah.
So, nowadays you have so much good information like this book to help you change the trajectory of how you're dealing with especially your older kids.
Yeah. And I do want to encourage people that if they do find themselves in that space where, okay, now they're more self aware enough where they can now take ownership of it, like your parents, right? They're only given so much information or tools that they were working with to raise you. Think of yourself as that too. You are only given so much information and so many tools that you can use to raise your kid. But now that you're in a better space, you can now have better conversations.
That's it right there. That's it. And now you have a podcast too. So do you talk about this during the podcast, or what are some of the topics that you speak on for your podcast? And what's the name of it?
So it's called Fran and Friends.
Love it.
It's on Spotify, YouTube, and all the other social media channels. But I stream mainly on YouTube and LinkedIn and Instagram. Anyways, the purpose of the podcast and the model is called finding healing through self-discovery. So I did that because I wanted, like we're talking about now, talk about these kind of topics that create the behavioral thinking, the patterns that we have that have created a distortion or some type of like disconnection, either with yourself or with the relationships that you have in general, work, family, love, whatever kind of connections. And I wanted to help people to become more an authentic version of themselves and show up fully in that space and really knowing how they're showing up in those spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have a relationship that's broken, I guess my question would be to you, how did you contribute to that breakdown?
Yeah.
And so what I do is I interview people that have stories of resilience. And I specifically identify people that also have like businesses that are focusing on helping people build a version of themselves, whether it's being a life coach. I mean, even the things that you do, because like your stuff is so tangible. People don't realize that not that they don't realize, maybe they don't have this practice within them yet, that the most tangible things that people can do to uplift themselves begins with a piece of apparel. And if you don't have like any style or sense of style, you can always borrow somebody else's and use that as your own until you come into your own sense of style. And clothing with color, and you're the expert on this. This is just me, girl, ranting at my own discovery of how it can uplift us. It can make us feel so good. And we just show up different when we think that we are in our, Sunday's best. And girl, I just feel like when we do have this sense of connectivity to ourselves, we can then begin our expression in its most authentic way. And it'll show up in every area of our life, our clothes, the way that our skin is, just kind of shining and illuminating, the way we have conversations with people. People will know that, oh, there's something different about this conversation. She's not just here and mouthing off words. She's really present in the space. And I really feel like there's something here that's pulling me in. So I also interview people that are somatic healers, which means it's just moving energy. Because a lot of the times when we experience trauma and things that have caused us to have like a survival response will help us move that stuff out of our system. And then when it does move, then we can make space for things that actually make us happy. And we can move forward in the things that we really want.
Because trauma can affect, and when you talk about defense, many times there are women who have dealt with sexual assault who will change from that vibrant person and who loved dressing to someone who dresses in a self-protective mode, and after a while they want to get back to that old person when they've done the work internally and they're ready to get back out there and look good and feel like they did before the trauma occurred. So, clothes, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you're going to perform better. And when you perform better, you put a lot of really good energy out there, and people, it is infectious, and people want to be around it, and people are going to come up to you. So when you speak, it's not coming from a thing of, oh, I wasn't expecting that. They just automatically expect, hey, she's got something to say. I want to hear from her. You're the light. You're the light. And that's all a part of the energy. So when you walk in like the light, people are going to be, attracted to you, and they want to talk to you. And it doesn't mean you have to come in, wearing something that's not a part of your personality. It's just wear something that's a part of your personality, but also lights you up. So all of that, even if you're wearing black and that outfit just really lights you up, you will attract people. Your whole energy in that outfit will attract people without you saying a word.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad that you said that because I was thinking it really doesn't matter what we put on. It's the light of the stuff that we put inside of us that illuminates the clothing and the apparel. But you tell me, you're the expert.
Well, it is. It's one. It is. It's very important how you feel on the inside. That I always say you have to do the work on the inside. I feel like I'm the icing on the cake, but your clothes are a reflection, direct reflection of the work that you've done internally, that you've done on yourself. It's a reflection of your personal development and growth, and it comes out because when you're working on this side, the clothes that you choose will reflect that. You'll start choosing things differently. You'll think about how you show up more so. And you'll actually show up, because a lot of people will turn down going to different things. Oh, I have nothing to wear. When you do have something to wear, you just decided on the inside that you're not worthy to go to the event.
Mm, say that again.
So you do have something to wear. You just feel like you're not worthy of going to the event or going to meet that person or whatever you're planning on doing. So it's easier and safe to stay at home. So yeah, so you know, that's where, it all works together, and so you are a stronger whole person. And I would argue that being a parent, how you show up matters too for your kids. Because when you walk into that open house looking like the light, kids are so proud. Listen, I was in a style rut. I was just doing my thing. I wore a flight attendant uniform, and then I would come home and wear the mom uniform. I'd wear a polo button down and a khaki skirt and some Kohan driving shoes, or khaki pants and a button down, and go to all of his school events. And finally he said, Mom, are you going to put some makeup on? I'm like, well, honey, do people think I don't need makeup? He goes, yeah, you do. And I was like, okay. And he said, are you going to wear that? Can you wear something else? And so I looked in the mirror and I saw this woman who forgot herself. I love fashion, and I forgot myself, and it's easy to get that way. And my son, I walked into that open house dressed completely different. I did my hair and I put some makeup on. I changed my outfit. My son was so proud.
Mm,
His energy, his self-esteem went through the roof,
mm, love that.
So we are also the light for our children.
Hmm.
How we show up is how they'll show up. They watch everything like sponges.
Hmm.
And I don't care how old they are. They want to feel proud.
Totally.
So,
Oh my
yeah.
God. I'm almost crying listening to that story. Oh my gosh. I can totally imagine that. And that's what I love about children. And I'm so glad that you stopped to listen to him. They are so in tune, regardless of whether they know where it's coming from. Like, mom needs something. Hey, mom, are you wearing that?
Yeah.
Right? And they help to bring us back to a space of knowing who we are,
Yeah.
remembering who we are.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Yeah. He was direct, just like his mother. He was very direct. Are you wearing that? It's like, oh, okay. You do need makeup. You do need makeup on. But it was just amazing how his whole energy changes.
Mm,
So that's what I'm saying. Be the light. Be the light for yourself. If you're the light for yourself, you can easily be the light for your children and the people in your community and everyone around you who really needs something positive. You never know how you just showing up in a way with positive energy can affect somebody else's life, because you walk in like the light and you smile at that person. You might change their entire day and give them hope.
Totally. Yo, and even thinking about it, even as fashion, right? We take fashion risk outside of our norm, not even realizing these risks that we're taking, that same energy the kids are watching or whomever else is watching. They're like, girl, that looks good on you. I would never wear that. We give ourselves permission to take risk in other places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As small as the fashion thing might be, that is also to a step into our liberation.
Yeah.
And I do it all the time with clothes. Like even today, I'll show you what I'm wearing. So I have
the white skirt on. Yes.
I'm just saying, like, okay, this is what I'm wearing that makes me feel good. And then when I got up to hug my daughter as I'm leaving, she goes, "Oh, girl, you look cute."
And look how she felt. She felt proud of her mom. She felt like, yeah, okay, it's important. This
Mm-hmm.
is important how we show up. You know, she didn't say, look at you because you had on, a cat suit and, you walk, now look, no shade. If you're bold enough to wear a cat suit and your kid thinks it's great, hey, if it lights them up, do your thing. I'm not here to judge.
Right.
Wear what lights you up and be the light for your children, your family, your community. And I can't say that enough. And so I love everything that you're doing. And I want people to know that you're here and that you need to tell us how they can get in contact with you and how they can get the book. And you guys, I will tell you how to get in contact with me in just a moment.
Okay. Well, you guys can find me on my website. It's just spelled my first and last name, Francis Fomai, and that's last name is F like Frank, OMAI.com. I'm all over social media, so I'll just give you a link and you guys can find me.
That sounds good. And you guys know where you can find me right here on at the Style Table LLC on Facebook and YouTube for My Style Mondays. Please like, follow, and subscribe to all of my social media channels.